Hello, welcome to the Stockinit Zombies. I'm Amy, also known as Jane Idma.
And I'm Megan, also known as Just Run It. And this is episode 23. This is our Michael Jordan episode.
Oh, okay.
And no other references other than the number 23, I guess. And it is the 27th of March. I didn't even have to look at a calendar for that, because I start my new job tomorrow. So I've got my office all packed up and I'm raring to go for a couple of days until I go on vacation. my first duties as a team lead, and I'm going to go on vacation.
Spring break.
Yep, it is. And I didn't know when I decided to go on this vacation that I was going to have a new job. So.
Yeah.
Did you go and watch the Hunger Games like every other person this weekend?
Nope.
I did not.
I will see it either this coming weekend or sooner.
Yeah.
So I want to see it in the theater.
Yeah. I have worked my way. I feel like I'm like stalking the website, but I don't really read. I listen to audiobooks now. And so I've moved my way through 75th in line at the Rochester Public Library for the first book to I am now number 1. And so the audiobook is due on tomorrow, I think.
Okay.
So hopefully I can get it before vacation. I like audiobooks for car rides. Although, would it be appropriate for my young children to listen to? Don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, it's got content in it, things that are being done.
Young adult content, right?
Yeah, young adult content.
And they are not young adults.
So yes, I mean, there's nothing, I don't know. Yeah, people die, I guess is how I will phrase that.
Okay. Death. So it would definitely, is the movie PG? What's the movie?
Oh, it's gotta be higher than PG. They
PG-13?
gotta show more. I don't know. Because, yeah, it is a young adult book, so you wouldn't want an R-rated movie.
No, for not. It's probably the same as the Eclipse movies, I'm sure.
Yeah.
They probably just followed suit. All right. Shout outs. Shannon got the shirts to us. And thank you so much, Shannon. We are in love with them. Go ahead.
Oh, I haven't been able to try mine on yet, so I'm pretty excited though.
Yeah, and we're gonna keep them off camera until we've got details.
Yes.
So we are just torturing you again and again by talking about it. But it's they're awesome. Let's just suffice to say they're awesome.
I mean, we are obviously going to be excited about them no matter what.
It's like our baby, right?
Yeah.
Like, nobody says that their own baby is ugly.
Exactly. We're like, oh, we love them. They're so cute. But, sometimes t-shirts aren't for everybody. I mean, I'm a living example. I don't wear t-shirts, like, every day. But,
Do you walk around naked?
I wear knits. I wear things.
Yes.
I just don't wear t-shirts. I don't know. I love these, and I think that I don't know.
Yep. It's a cute design.
Yeah.
Let's just leave it at that.
Yep. Don't talk about it anymore.
I know. We're gonna spill the beans. Like we had a very stern conversation before we started recording about, let's not put that out there until we know for sure, and we don't want to.
Yeah.
So that is all.
Yeah.
Thank you, Shannon. You are awesome. I'm looking forward to possibly meeting you when I'm down in Kansas City. I think I've talked my husband into wanting to go over to Lawrence, Kansas. So.
Okay.
Sounds like Bacon Fairy can't make it.
She's busy.
Yeah. Gotta work. Yep. But and there's no pressure to have a
huge meetup.
Yeah, I can only appear if there are 50 people there.
That's not true.
There should also be. I'll send my. What's that called when the
writer
or when the movie star? Yeah, the writer. Yeah, the movie star says, and there must be pineapple slices at 1/4 inch thick. And my favorite food is apples. so please, have 5 varieties of apples. Anyway.
I've always heard, and I don't know if it's urban legend or not, but the writers were put into the contracts in order to choose a venue, because if they didn't read the writer and put the green M&M bowl in your dressing room, you knew that they might have skipped on safety things that were a real issue. Like, we said that these things had to be a 1/4 inch from the ceiling because it's a safety issue. If you put them any lower, people will hit their heads or something like that. Whereas, so that they put the writer and make everything specific, and then as soon as they walk into the dressing room, they can see that, they paid attention to every detail.
They read it.
Yeah.
It's good to know.
Yep, that was what I had heard about those, nitpicky things. It's not because the star is being all diva, it's because they've decided that if you put those little specific things in and then you can visibly see them right away when you get to a venue, then everything else that might be a safety issue will be taken care of.
And I could see, like, if you had, like, food restrictions, maybe.
Yep.
I don't know. Anyway, it's not, I just threw that out there because I was going to be down there. And I was like, well, in the very least, somebody can tell me a cool yarn shop to go down and see while I'm there. So it's obviously not the focus of my travels. I wouldn't hurt to do it as well. So I saw that we have like 150 finished objects out in the self-striping finished object forum thread, which is fantastico. Now I'm blanking on the name. I can't remember her name. It was just in my head. I went out to her project because it was really cute. And I saw that she had like it was a monster, the March Madness, Monster Madness with knittables tagged, and she had us tagged, and I can't remember if she had something else tagged. It was like 3, so I was like, wow, look at you, woman after my own heart, I commented. And then she messaged me back and she's like, actually, I also used it for the dramatic knits. So she like had 6 things.
Object.
She had like 6 things that it counted for, actually. And I think maybe Nerd Wars was in it. I can't remember.
Could have been Nerd Wars.
Yeah, I was just like, wow, you go, girl. That's what I said back. You go, girl. So people are taking that to heart, man.
Yeah.
Double dip, triple dip, quadruple dip. What's the 5th? Quintuple? I can never remember after a quadruple. Anywho, let's get to, I'm at the end of a row, and they're long rows, so I'm gonna get to my finished objects. This fantastic designer donated her pattern to the world. Yay! Yay! So I have 2 zombies. This is Zoe the zombie, and she's much loved by my daughter. She's already getting kind of pilled because my daughter has just done everything with her. I had to tiptoe out of the bedroom with her tonight. And my daughter knows how to spell her name, so she's like running around like Z-O-E-Y, Z-O-E-Y. But she is in love with her, and I think I can get 1 more out of my.
Oh, okay.
So the kit goes a really long way. Cool. I did it on US 4s. I believe these are these 8 or 9 millimeter eyes?
Probably 9.
9 millimeter eyes. I learned a couple things about myself and monster knitting. 1, I like doing the arms first because then I can sew on the arms after I've gotten to the point where I need to stuff the body.
Okay.
And because I don't know, I'm just kind of meticulous, and I didn't like having to try to sew them on with it already stuffed and all sealed up. Don't know. What else? I couldn't stand to use the red for a scar. I was just like, this is too beautiful. It's going to be a skirt.
Okay.
And I used just what was left over as a Superman belt. This is Zed, the zombie. He is a superhero. He has a cape.
He's a Canadian superhero.
Why is he a Canadian superhero?
Zed, A to Z.
Okay.
I don't know. I've only heard Canadians say that. I guess it could be other places, the UK. I don't know.
Wasn't it Zed like short for Zedediah or something like that?
Well, instead of saying A to Z, they say A to Z.
So, got it. His eyes are a little far apart. I put them on and I stuffed him, and then his eyes got a little far apart on me. So he looks a little challenged, but that's okay.
Oh.
And yes, he's a Superman belt. Put pants on him.
Yeah.
Put pearl ridges down at the bottom of their pants, and also their belts. I did 2 pearl ridges, like the neckline. I think that's the only modifications I really made. Just the cutest little things. Ellie was so excited when Zed got done because she was like, "Oh, and now they're friends, and they can have adventures together." She can be the dancing girl because I think she thinks this is like a tutu. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I just thought superheroes needed full pants. I mean, they're doing superhero things.
Did you do the decreases at the...
I did not.
Oh, okay.
I did not. I just did a knit 2 together through the back loop and then put it back on over one because I kind of wanted it to roll.
Okay.
Your bind off had knit 2 together, knit 1, right?
Yeah, I think so. I was just curious because I see everybody's skirts are turning out different than mine, and I'm like, oh, well, what they do different? Yep. Or maybe it's the same thing, but my tension is such that it makes it stay flat, or I don't know.
But yes, I'll agree with Lisa, Fiber Nymph, that they're kind of fidgety, and like I don't like, especially the arm part here where I was like, maybe it was my needles, I don't know, but because I was using my my interchangeables, so sometimes they get a little loose on and the needles fall off. Anyway, but definitely well worth the daughter moment where she was like, running around with it, you know, and then she was like, "Do I get to keep this one, Mom?" And I'm like, I've knit one other monster that went to somebody else, and now she's like, "Oh, Mom, do I get to keep it?" I'm like, "Yes, it's yours," and she helped me pick out the mouth.
Okay.
So she kind of looks like she's got lipstick on.
Yeah.
He just kind of looks like he's smiling. I only have red and pink felt.
I see.
I think I have blue felt too. Sorry, I don't have white felt, so they get red mouths. Okay. They're not brain eating or anything. Oh, and I did something different here. I did a 3 needle bind off of the 4 crotch stitches. So knit past it, come back around.
Instead of grafting, okay.
I don't know. I like 3 needle wind off. It's just neater to me.
Okay.
Don't know why. So,
but it looks like a seam there.
Yes.
Okay.
I like it.
It's your finished object.
It is. It is. So, 2 zombies. And off they go. And then my Driven got its arm. So,
yay.
Yes, and this thing is shedding like the dickens. Like my husband was like, "You've got blue fuzz all over you." Like, I don't know. It's I think it's not supposed to be 3/4 length sleeve, but it's not really a full sleeve either.
Bracelet.
Yeah. Is that what that's called?
Yeah, bracelet length. So if it's not, 3/4, then it's not all the way to your wrist. It's bracelet length, so you can have a bunch of bracelets here.
Oh, I see. Very fancy. But yeah, I don't think I have anything more to say about that other than it was for Malabrigo March. I finished that up. Those both went into the Monster Madness of knittables. So I feel as if I have made my monthly March KAL quota. I did my skews for the first part of our stripey. I just kind of feel like March can be done now.
Well, my life has been kind of crazy, so I don't have any finished objects, but I have a lot of progress. So
awesome.
And I have some, somebody lent me a spinning wheel, so I have some. Okay, I will count.
A brand new
How about
segment?
I'll count this as an FO because it is so many yards of applied yarn. So this is my FO. It is a thick and thin nightmare. So this is my little extras that I put into a thing. And this actually looks good and decent compared to the rest of it. So I got a little overspun because apparently I was treadling like the wind, and that's not good.
Yeah.
Slow down, slow down.
I can see where I would do that.
I got a lot of advice on how to...
It's taking too long.
Yes, something, yeah. Or I'm impatient, or it seems like it's working well, but then you realize everything's overspun. So I could try to hold this up to the camera. You can see in the middle there that I have a bunch of things that are coily and weird, and not the greatest.
Yep.
So it'll end up being a monster, but I'm currently working on the second half of this fiber, trying to get it into something beautiful and even. So I'm slowing down, and I'm trying to do the second half a little bit better. So it could be an interesting monster where I have like the body part be this crazy wackiness, and then like the arms will be the neat stuff that I spent time on.
So would you use the needle size for like the thickest part then? Or for the thinnest part then? That's what I meant to say.
Well, not the thinnest part. I think I'm going to go somewhere in the middle, because this stuff goes from like fingering all the way up to super chunky. I mean, it's really all over the map.
Yeah.
So I probably do something in the middle. I'm thinking I'll start with size 5s and see what kind of fabric I get. But there's not much yardage in that. That's the whole thing.
Is that, so that's just, it's not plied or anything?
Yeah, this is plied.
Okay. That's what
bathed. I didn't whack it because I didn't know what that was. I went like this a couple times. Is that whacking?
You're asking the wrong gal.
So, this is, what do they, some people say art yarn, but then somebody says, no, that's not even art yarn. That's just my first yarn. So that's my first yarn.
Awesome.
And the, is it Hiawassee Dye Works? Or Hiawassee Creek Dye Works?
Mm-hmm.
That's where this fiber came from. And so it's this beautiful blues and browns, and it was very good beginner fiber, and I can't remember what it was. Corriedale or Falkland, I'm not sure. But it was a good beginner fiber, and again, like, this is completely not spun, this is overspun. I was treadling too fast. I was told just by describing the end product that I was treadling too fast. So the second half of it, the second 2 ounces, are going a lot slower. And I kind of put it away, so it's been, 5 days since I've done anything with spinning. But it was fun. And I'm just, like I said,
did the wheel need any tuning or anything like that? No?
Sarah showed me how she fixed it up, and
cool.
So it didn't need anything extra. I'd have to put oil in it the next time I get it out, but other than that, but she showed me where to put it, and I should be good.
Good to go.
Yep, and that is like all I can consider an FO. So here is my first whip to talk about. I put my afterthought heel in right about there, and it
in the middle of the stripe. Sorry, I can't.
Yeah, it's in the middle of a blue stripe. It just happened to be where it ended up. I think it probably ended up closer to the white stripe where I needed to do it, but I thought, 2 more rows and it'll be in the middle of the blue. So, I did, let's see, these are on US 1s, or 2.25 millimeter.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I pulled one out. Hold on. Yeah, I'm loving it. I haven't done plain vanilla sock. These are supposed to be for my SSK knit along, because one of the things that you could knit for that was a plain vanilla sock. So I'm going to try and finish these up by April 16th. But my other full-time distraction for knitting is my Lar.
La la la.
And the La La Lar has gotten lots of love.
Awesome.
So I have completed the button band and the
Did you put
edging.
one up further up to the top?
I tried
Yeah.
to get as close as I could before I put on the neckline stitches. And then I picked up and worked the arm until I was sure that I knew what I was doing, and then I got like another inch on it, and then I was like, okay, that's an arm. Tried it on. It's a little tighter than I thought it should be. Just with it's like you pick up a lot fewer stitches than I would have thought, and but it fits, and I don't want to decrease right away because it has you decreasing right away, and I'm like, I don't know, my arm gets a little thicker from the shoulder socket down, so get over those guns. Yeah. The gun show.
Yeah.
So I have to probably stay straight knitting for a while and then start decreasing. keep trying it on as I go, because I don't want to have a floppy extra fabric in there. I just think that the way it's fitting right now, I don't need to put.
Yeah. It's all up to what you want it to look like too. I mean, that's the great thing about knitting your own garments, right? I mean, if you bought that in the store and they had made them all with really tight arms, you wouldn't have gotten to wear it, right?
No.
But you can make it your own.
So, yep. So the basic vest, I guess, part of it's done. Just need the sleeves and weaving in ends and putting on buttons, but all the knitting for the center block is done. So it's just a matter of sleeves, which is plain knitting, just like the plain knitting here.
Yeah, lots of stockinette zombie, huh?
Yeah, lots of stockinette. But, like I said, until I got done with this much of the sleeve, this was ignored. But then as soon as I picked it up, I've been going
Gangbusters.
Crazy on it. So it's all those stripes, right? They get you going and keep you motivated.
Just one more stripe.
Yep. And again, everything else has just been sitting and waiting patiently for me to get past my larch love and my...
Your lar love.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You did the larch. Lar.
That's fine. It's a lot of L words.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's the lar.
Yep.
L-A-A-R.
Lar. Lar. Oh. Are you...
Yeah, that's it.
Two?
Those are my active ones. I'm not going to show you I made no progress on this. I made no progress on that. So.
All right. So immediately upon finishing up my zombies by that wonderful designer, I cast on my kaleidoscope, which I have wanted to knit for a bazillion years. It is by Sarah Sutherland. It is a fingering weight. It calls for a fingering weight cardigan. The photo has it really low off shoulder, but lots of modifications are out there where they've made it a little higher, which is what I plan to do, although I don't know if I'm going to run out of yarn because I'm like right on the cusp of the 2 to 3 skeins of sock yarn, so could end up being, and hers is a, what'd you call that, 3/4 length, half length, 3/4 length sleeve in the photo, which is I'm sure what the pattern is written for. But I keep buying 2s of every sock yarn that I buy, going, someday I'm going to knit a kaleidoscope. So I'm going to knit a kaleidoscope, and it's with self-striping yarn. This is, I have the little daggy in here. The colorway is Cider House, so it's got some beautiful reds and greens and golden delicious, and I don't know what the turquoise is. No, what would you call that?
Forest green.
Forest green is supposed to be. Maybe just like the foliage in a tree. It is Cherry Tree Hill Finger Paints Super Sock Self Stripes, and I started knitting this, and I got about, just with this one, and I got about an inch into the stocking knit section, and I got up and I went to the bathroom, because I've got 2 balls of this. I got 2 skeins of this, and it's all balled up and ready to go. And I got up and went to the bathroom, and I came back, and it was just kind of laying on the couch, and I was like, oh my god, I will never wear that. I mean, it was just like clown barf. I mean, it was literally like the most loud and obnoxious thing you have ever seen. I'm like, you can get away with that on a sock. You could get away with that on a hat or a scarf. But I would never wear a cardigan like that. Like, not in real life, not at work, not ever. So I decided to cut the clown barf, like dilute it with some just plain gray here. And this is Valley Yarns Charlemont, which is merino and silk and polyamide. Isn't that just nylon? Polyamide?
Synthetic, whatever.
Yeah, whatever it is. It's soft and nice and whatever. So I decided that I was going to do the ribbing in the gray, and then you guys just now saw me adding the first. I joined in the color. So I had about an inch, and then I ripped it out. I was like, well, I'm not going to knit something I'm never going to wear.
Okay. So it's going to be really like the Tempest stripes, very thin little stripes.
Just, yeah, 2 colors. Well, I mean, it kind of reminds me of a lot of the Noro patterns out there, I guess,
okay, yeah.
where they kind of have one stripe of one color, and then the next couple rows you just have another one. And I guess I could have grabbed from the other end of the ball and tried doing that, but it still would have been it still would have been clown barf.
Yep.
So I don't know. It should be some good card knitting. Hopefully it doesn't look too loud still, but I think the gray will definitely give it a more subtle tone.
Yeah.
So
good.
Yeah, I used to hate that. I used to feel like, okay, I'm not going to rip that out because I've spent, an hour on it now, and that would just be a waste. And then I'm like, it's like throwing more money at a problem if it's not going to fix it, right? Why knit a whole cardigan not just to not waste an inch's worth of knitting, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that is that. My soliloquy on why I decided to frog and restart this gal. It's a she now, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Those are my works in progress. Now I can't figure out which side I was on. I have 1 row of gray. Okay.
And I know people probably haven't seen my socks in a while, or at least this done up. But this is the Dr. Watson, elementary Dr. Watson colorway, which is modeled after the scarf that Dr. Watson wears in the movie, and then also Martin from the BBC, Dr. Watson, his tie in one of the shows is like this. And so I am in love. They are my geeky socks.
Yeah. Are you doing nerd words this time around?
I am, but I'm only completing like 1 thing per month, per regulations. I think one time I completed something else, but I just didn't get it. Like, I didn't fulfill all of the things that you were supposed to before the end of the month, and I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I said, life has been turned upside down, and Nerd Wars is last on my list.
Yeah.
So, I think I submitted something yesterday or over the weekend to Nerd Wars, because I had happened to knit something that sort of fit a genre, and I made sure that it fit in there, and I stuck it in there. But we'll see how April goes. Maybe I'll do more than 1. But yeah, it's been really, really hard to put that much thought into my knitting.
Yeah.
I think that just getting them going and using them as a relaxation, but I've been finding myself just wanting to sit in front of the TV and not do anything, and that's just not like me.
Yeah.
My brain's just too taxed, and I'm tired, and I just want to zone out, and even my wonderful knitting is too much. I know.
Okay. Because a knitter like Amy's not feeling very well if she wants to zone out in front of the TV instead of knit. So. Okay.
So yeah, I mean, when I'm out and about with the kids, and I'll knit on the go, and maybe at night when the hubby's next to me and I don't know, my spirits are up. But if I'm just home and the kids are out playing or whatever, I'm just kind of like, oh.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, I guess it's only me here, and I just want to sit and zone out and do nothing.
Yep. Well, again, feel no obligation. Yeah, on our behalf, my behalf, anybody's behalf.
No, I mean, I'm motivated to finish that LAR. So I just got sleeves left.
Because you're gonna take it to SSK, right, and be like, "Hey, Lala, look what I got! I finished mine. Aren't you jealous?"
I might have to make myself a button
that says, "Oh,
gosh,
now I'm putting you on the spot."
I don't know what it's gonna say. Lala challenged me to a knit along, and
this is all I got from it.
No, well, yeah, but I was like, well, you gotta flip it and make it funny, so it's like, and I got this beautiful sweater.
Yep.
I don't know.
There's been a couple of topics out in the topics to discuss, where I was interested to see what you would say on your pattern selections. What makes you decide to knit something in particular? And I've had a little time to give it some thought, so I can give my answer as long as you don't copy mine.
I'll try not to.
I think that in general, I have a good idea of patterns that I want to knit, like this kaleidoscope. And like, so I favorite them, and I like put it in my queue and attach yarn to it. And then if you've looked at my queue at all, which God save you if you have, I've got like 300 things in it. So that isn't enough really to, you know, make anything really bubble to the top. So in general, it's knit-alongs or it's yarn driven. So if Diane's having a monsters knit along, that kind of makes the monster bubble to the top. And even more points, there's like a scoring system really. If Amy created a pattern and I haven't knitted it yet, and I happen to have bought a Dancing Dog Dye Works, you know, kit to have it. So I've got the yarn in stash. That's always a real positive as well. Sometimes it's yarn driven for me, so like I'll flip it on its tail. It won't be like, these are the patterns I want to knit and they're in my queue. It'll be like, this is a yarn that I really want to knit right now, and what have I said in my queue is something that what patterns I would say I would knit with this yarn. So that's kind of how my pattern selection, and then believe it or not, every single person that is my friend, I have in my RSS reader, Just Run It's friends, you know, everything that they favorited, or their finished objects, or, you know, their photos out there. I'll flip through them, do the little Google salute, I think it's called, where the next mark red, so it's NM, 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 and just kind of flip through them. If something strikes my fancy, it goes into my queue. So. Did I stall long enough?
I think so. I keep a small-ish queue. It's under 100. I don't know how big it is right now. But, and usually I'll have a shape that's something that I want to knit. So it's like, oh, cardigans. And then all the cardigans get rearranged to the top. And then I will pick one of those from the top and say, that's the one I'm doing next. And usually it's something that I have the yarn for, so I don't go shopping for it.
Yeah.
It's, you know, something that I've already purchased. Or I want to knit socks, so then I either flip through my sock books, or I go in my queue to see if there's anything that I've queued up, and then I bubble that to the top, or I just cast on something from a book. Same with like, okay, it's time to knit a shawl again. I miss knitting shawls. I'm going to go through, find all my shawls in my queue, and then find which ones that I'm most interested in. And then
Diane's doing Stephen West next month.
Oh, okay.
Just FYI.
Okay, I have a few of those patterns. I could probably
I think I have the Daybreak. Do I have the Daybreak? Anyway. Yep. Yeah.
And I have that color shift yarn that needs to be a Daybreak, possibly. Can't decide what it's supposed to be yet.
Yeah. And nobody will have a queue. Like, have you ever gone out and looked at Steve of Dramatic Knits' queue? I think it has over 1,000 things in his queue. It's insane. But I also wanted to mention, like, when we mention all of these podcasters, like Lala, and I think I've mentioned Diane several times, and Lisa, the Fire Nymph. I am just as much of a fan person as you on the other side of the camera. Right. Like, I'm not mentioning them, like, dropping names, like, you know,
I'm
cool.
totally in with those people.
Yeah, no, I'm completely like, did you see last week? But, you know, I mean, I'm a complete fan. I'm not at all thinking that,
that these people are our friends.
Yeah, exactly.
That we totally hung out with the last weekend, and no. It is just for we follow along with them as much as anybody, and we get excited about things that they're talking about.
Yep. And they're part of the knitting culture just as much as patterns are or yarn is, or
Yeah.
to me anyway.
Well, to podcasting fans, I mean,
yeah.
there's a certain segment of the population that out there that doesn't watch podcasts. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Like,
who are those folks? And they actually knit?
Yeah. How do they ever get motivated and find ideas?
Yeah.
And,
if they've got 349 things in their queue, how does anything ever bubble up to the top? They must have really great local yarn shops with a really great community and
yeah, they must. Or they've, been knitting forever and they've got their own style and they don't need a pattern.
Yeah.
Just, I don't know.
Kind of a random thought here. Do you have like a hint on, I'm always super tight on when I do my yarn changes and I don't like it. I wish somebody out there, tell me how when you change your yarn on the side when you're doing your own stripes. So I've got
make the gauge the same on this side as that side.
Yeah, where you're carrying the yarn up the side. It's always, I don't want it to be too loose and flopping around, and I don't want it to be too tight, which is what I think I tend towards. But so I'm using a self-striping yarn and then making stripes myself. I don't know if I made that clear when I was talking about I'm double striping.
Yep.
All right,
Mega
acquisitions. Acquisitions.
Sorry. Seeing if I'm done.
Mega. That always makes me laugh. We had some folks down in Guad that I worked with that thought that an appropriate shortening of the name Megan was Mega.
Mega.
Hey, Mega, how you doing? I'm
just
like,
take the N off.
That means something completely different in our culture. I don't want to be called Mega. Unless you say mega fun.
Or mega smart.
Yeah. Or mega cool.
There you go.
Yeah. All right. You said you had some acquisitions. Do you want me to talk about mine? You want to talk about yours? And again, these are just our own little yarny obsessions. They have no you must buy them-ness to them at all, or exclusivity. It's just,
no,
I wanted to buy it, so.
These colors spoke to me at a 20% off sale at my local yarn shop. And it's a Zitron Unison. And it's supposed to be a self-striping of some sort. And it's a superwash merino.
Beautiful.
They will probably end up being socks at some point.
How many different colors are there? Like a bazillion.
Yeah, it's a lot. So I don't know what it's going to look like. It had a sample card for most of them, but not this one. Not sure why.
But somebody stole it because it was so awesome.
Well, I don't know. So I mean, and I didn't bother to go out there looking. I just thought, well, I'll just trust that since the rest of them were self-striping, that this one that has a lot more color to it is self-striping. And they look like they're long enough repeats in the skein that it's gonna stripe up. And they're just interesting. They remind me of apples or something, where it's got dark browns and greens, so like the stem, and then the different colors of apples, and then a little bit of blue. And then the birthday yarn is what I'm calling it because it's my birthday present, either to me or from my husband.
Must feel.
So this is Tempted Prissy Girl Sport. I may be the very first person to ever get a hold of a Prissy Girl Sport because Stacy and I talked about how I needed a sport weight yarn that's like Prissy, but originally I had asked her, do you think Prissy would work for this pattern? And then she said, I don't know. Let me see if my supplier has Prissy in sport weight. And they did.
Alas.
So, I have Prissy Girl Sport in the Sidra colorway, and it's
Fantastico.
Yeah, it's like a navy blue.
Oh, sorry, you were talking about the color.
Oh,
the color is very beautiful as well. But oh my lord.
Oh yes, Prissy Girl. If you're not familiar with it, is 70% baby alpaca, 20% silk, and 10% cashmere. And it's a baby me hand wash. Do not look at me the wrong way yarn. But and it's got a lot of fuzz.
Yeah, it's got a halo.
But
I think I could put up with that.
Yeah. I'm going to I need all 4 of them, darn it, because this is going to be my sabbatical. I haven't knit up a sample yet. Maybe it won't be a sabbatical, but I think this will look really good in the lace pattern. And the yarn that it called for was Road to China Light, which is a similar composition. Not exact, but similar composition. So this is what I decided to spoil myself with. Thank you so much, Stacy. I don't know if she watches us, but I'm very excited to have my Prissy Girl Sport. And she might have actually had to create a card, you know, out there on Ravelry just for me so I can add it, right?
Sometimes you have to add your own.
Yeah.
I had to, when I got that Fiber Knit Mercy, and there was none out there.
Oh.
So I created one.
But yeah, I'm
volunteer editor. Sorry.
Aren't you special?
I need a button.
Yeah, you're very special. But yeah. I mean, it looks like they're, you know, like that end's not quite well matched. Let's try the other end. Oh, there they look well matched.
Beautiful.
So I'm excited. These are obviously semi-solids, and I think they're just really gonna look amazing. And I hope to swatch shortly, but I'm not gonna, you know, don't hold me to that because I want that LAR done, and swatching will be secondary to, yeah, really do. So I'm not sure what else is gonna get worked on, or if anything. These socks need to be done by the 16th. So
do you have an up next? Is that your up next?
It might not be. You know, I want to swatch it up next. But what I really want to do is something with my cotton yarn. I think I mentioned that last week. I have some Misty Alpaca cotton silk, and I really want to work up a sweater that was in a knit scene for it. I saw that there's a new knit scene. Did you get that? Not yet?
I have the auto ship program, but I haven't been billed for it yet, so they must not have sent it out.
Because it's available a digital copy, and I was looking for a preview because all I got was these teeny tiny pictures, and I know that they have more, but I didn't go out to Ravelry because I was just in my email. So maybe I'll get out there and check for a preview. But
alright, I have still been very naughty on the yarn front. I'm showing you just what I have had for the last 2 weeks and not showing you. This is Diabolical. I fell in love with Laura Mag's BFL that we're giving away for the KL prize, and so kind of similar colors as what I'm currently knitting, and kind of similar to yours.
More bluey green.
Yep. Can you pronounce that for me? Themyscira? Themyscira. It's named after the island that Wonder Woman is from. Or something like that.
I'm not enough of a geek to know that.
Me either. I'm sorry. I like to be a geek, but
not a comic book geek.
Yeah. So very pretty. BFL hard twist in the Themyscira. You guys are probably screaming at the camera.
You know, and it's funny. I've probably watched Batman Brave and the Bold, where they go to that stinking island 100 times with my kid, and I couldn't tell you what it is.
Yeah, and I like BFL. For some reason I had in my head that I wouldn't like it because it wasn't merino, and I really like it.
I have some. It bloomed and got real fuzzy on me, but I was knitting a looser gauge. It wasn't socks. My socks have been less.
This I'm going to blame on
so pretty.
Christina Knits. She had a D-stash, and I am now obsessed with Sundera. It's so pretty, and it's so soft.
It was very nice.
It is fingering silky merino, 50% silk, 50% merino. And again, I'm a very tactile person, so you guys at home are probably going like, that's really great, but I can't feel it. And it's in the sugar plum colorway. And I think this is going to be so. Shh, just pretend it didn't happen. I'll bleep it out when I edit.
I'm trying. It's not working.
Sugar plum colorway. Say that 5 times fast. What is it going to be? A scarpetta or some sort of garment? I don't think that it will be. She said it was going to be a scarf or shawl for her, and it's definitely going to be a garment for me because I love the color. I don't wear enough pink.
Squishy.
Yes. Squishy, soft, and a beautiful colorway.
Yep. Very pretty.
And it's already skeined up for me.
Yeah. Your little slip up reminded me of a song by Stuart Davis. And I now have that stuck in my head.
Well,
we'll discuss that later.
Okay.
Because it's inappropriate
for the podcast.
Yes.
My up next is an escargot.
The hat?
Yeah. Yep. I told you about my daycare provider who had me darn the mittens with the Cascade. Now it's left me, but it's wool and acrylic, and she was like, well, did you use all of it? I'm like, I used like less than 3 yards to darn. I mean, it was just like a little place on the thumb, I think. So I offered to make a hat, being the nice person that I am, and it's for her daughter. The mittens are her daughter, who has the same size. She's an adult's daughter, so she's like home from college right now on spring break or something like that. And her head is the same size as my daughter's.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So we'll see if I need to go get some like brown or beige or something as an off color, because all of my acrylic yarn that I have is very bright, vibrant colors, nothing muted, and she wanted something muted. So
that's funny.
Yep.
I think it's funny that somebody said, did you use all of them?
Well, she wasn't asking for it back. I think she was just going to say, and can I pay you, and you can keep the yarn. And I was like, well, I'd love to make something else for her out of this yarn. I mean, she chose the yarn and whatever, but yeah. We shall see. I think it will make a nice escargot for somebody who would probably want to wash it. And it's got acrylic in it, so it's superwash, which is, I'm sure, what the local yarn shop told her. So
she was like, oh, washable.
Yeah. And the amount of time that I've spent in yarn shops, which isn't a lot, I probably do more online shopping just because of my life. It's hard for me with 3 young kids to get to yarn shops a lot. But in the amount of time that I have spent in a yarn shop, I'd have to say every single time I've been in a yarn shop, somebody has come in and been like, can you show me a yarn that I can wash? Like somebody just off the street and asks for help and says, show me a washable yarn, a machine washable yarn, because I'm making a baby item or a hat for somebody that I don't want to have to tell them they can't machine wash it, or so seems like it's a fairly common request.
Yep. Or like, I have no idea what somebody else is going to knit this.
Yeah, I'm giving it as a gift, or yep. So anywho, next week will probably be later because I'm going to be down in Kansas City. Oh, unless Amy wants to come down to Kansas City with me and we can record down there. No. So it'll probably be either later in the week, or we might just have to skip next week. We'll see.
I know. It's our spring break, and different vacations, so different schedules. And
yeah. Well, I mean, because the earliest I could record is, and again, this is probably really titillating for folks on the other end of this, but the earliest I could record would be like Friday night, and then we would just turn around and record again on Tuesday. I don't know if we'd be shorting ourselves on conversation for the next podcast. So, decisions.
Yeah, maybe we could do like a short special. Like.
Hi. Bye.
Hammer out the details on our T-shirt or something.
Yeah.
And then do a quick like, hey, look, T-shirts, and then.
Okay. It's an idea.
Yeah. We got some time before you leave, so hammer out those details and try and get that going.
Yep.
Sounds good.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
That's all.
That's it for me too. Hopefully I will
Yeah, Laura's making a lot of progress.
Yeah, no, and again, for as much as I've been staring at TVs going, I should really be knitting, but I don't feel like it. I think I've been doing pretty good progress on that.
Yeah, I mean, it's lace weight, right?
Yes.
I mean, it takes hours to make an inch, you know?
Right. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I think last week I had part of one shoulder, right? So now I've got the other shoulder, and I've got the bands and whatever, and all that's, you know, tidied up, and then part of a sleeve.
Yeah.
It could be done technically, the sleeve, but I think I want to go down to at least my elbow on this one, just aesthetically, with the way that the pattern's coming together. And I'm dying to block this out so that it's not rolling.
Yep. Mine blocked out real easy, so I'm sure yours will be as well.
Later. I will do that later, as they say.
Yep.
That's it for me.
All right. Have a great week, and we'll see you possibly next week at a different time. So,
Bye.
bye, Ufta.